Hello and welcome to this BridgeTech presentation on the embedded video engine BT815/6 third generation of Eve products. This is the following agenda for the presentation. Who are BridgeTech? What is Eve? What's new in our third generation of Eve? The BT815/6 block diagram and functionality, device features, device benefits, some Eve graphical tools available, development modules, target applications, and finally web resources and technical support. So you've heard of FTDI, but who are BridgeTech? BridgeTech was formed in 2016, spun off from FTDI chip. Our focus is on next generation solutions. We're the creator of innovative display graphics solutions for HMI applications. We're also the creator of our SuperBridge MCU devices for enhanced system interconnectivity. We have application support in Singapore, Taiwan, Vietnam, Glasgow, and Oregon in the United States. We provide real-time support, free firmware, modules, design support tools, and application design kits. So, what is Eve? Eve is our embedded video engine. It's an advanced object-oriented graphics controller with line rendering. It integrates touch control for capacitive and resistive touch displays, and it also has an integrated audio output. It's an ideal HMI bridge solution. So as you can see with the BT815/6, it includes an MCU interface which supports SPI or quad SPI, allowing for control from a wide range of MCUs. The internal engines do all the data processing and data storage. Power and clocking control are also on the chip. The display interface allows for 24-bit color depth and variable timing support for resolutions up to 800 by 600 pixels. It also includes additional backlight control. Choose resistive touch for harsher environments or capacitive for multi-touch gesture control. So what's new in our third generation of Eve graphics controllers? Well, our third generation of graphics controllers retains all the features of previous Eve generations, whilst including new support for ASTC bitmap compression, but the main new feature is a dedicated flash memory port for adding object memory. This can be used to offload graphics elements which do not fit in the traditional GRAM included on the IC. We also include new support for Unicode fonts. This is a comparison table of the previous Eve generations and the new BT815/6 Eve third generation. All devices require 3V 3 power. All device IOs are 1V8 to 3V3. All devices operate between -40 and +85 degrees Celsius. All devices support mono audio output, and all devices support backlight control. So now we're going to have a look at the BT815/6 block diagram and functionality. Here's the block diagram. On the left hand side we have the inputs, and on the right hand side we have the outputs. The first input block is our MCU interface. This is a SPI or quad SPI interface. It also includes an interrupt generator. The next block down is our flash interface and flash controller. This again is a SPI or quad SPI interface and allows for the support of external flash chips, which is a new feature for the BT815/6 Eve third generation products. We have a few extras in the input blocks, which are 2 pins if you wish to use external clocks for the device, and our VCC and ground pins. In the middle you can see our memory and processing unit. This includes our graphics engine, audio engine, touch engine. Moving on to the outputs of the graphics controller, we have 24-bit RGB graphics pins, and we also have a pixel clock generator which outputs your P clock, your H sync, your V sync, and similar such signals. Moving down, we have the output from the audio controller. This is a single pin digital audio output pin using sigma delta modulation. Finally, we have our touch controller interface which supports capacitive or resistive touch controllers. So the BT815/6 is a single chip embedded video controller with the following functional blocks. We have a quad SPI host interface for communication with host microcontrollers and microprocessors. We have a quad SPI flash interface which implements a SPI master to connect to external SPI NOR flash. Graphics assets such as Unicode fonts and images can be stored in the flash memory. And finally on this page we have our system clock, which can be configured to use any of the three following clock sources. We can use the internal oscillator, which is default, an external 12 MHz crystal, or an external 12 MHz square wave clock. Moving on, our graphics engine is the next functional block. Eve's object-oriented approach renders images in a line-by-line fashion with a 1/16 of a pixel resolution. This means no expensive frame buffer is required, lowering system cost. Next we have our parallel RGB video interface. This consists of 29 signals, including H each for R, G and B. RGB registers are used to configure LCD operation and timing parameters. Next we have our audio engine, which provides a mono audio output with sigma delta modulation through a digital audio pin. It can output from two sources via either the sound synthesizer on board or audio file playback. Next we have our touch engine. This touch engine supports both resistive and capacitive touch panels. The BT816 supports resistive touch, while the BT815 supports capacitive touch. Power management on the BT815/6 is operated with a single supply of 3V3 applied to VCC and VCC-IO pins. So what are the main device features of our new third generation Eve graphics controller ICs? Well, they're optimized for memory usage with the inclusion of a dedicated SPI host port for memory. This allows storage of design assets off-board the chip, 1 MB internal memory. This does not impact on system SPI performance when moving large files, ergo video clips. It also includes support for the adaptive scalable texture compression codec. This allows for greater compression of image data, which uses less memory. We have Unicode font support now, which means it's simpler to mix and match different font characters and extend the font table. And finally, the audio output is changed from an analog PWM pin to a digital audio output. This should improve audio quality. So what are the device benefits when using an Eve IC? Well, Eve handles all of the graphics processing. This means you can use an 8, 16 or 32-bit MCU, which means the MCU may be relatively slow as it doesn't need to handle any graphics processing. The MCU may have limited memory and it may handle other system tasks. This makes Eve a very flexible solution. So now we're going to have a look at some Eve graphical tools which are available. The main idea behind these tools is to speed up the development process when integrating Eve into a system. So the first tool we're going to look at here is the Eve Asset Builder. It's a new GUI based asset manager tool, and it has been launched with the BT815/816. So this tool integrates all of our previous tools for the Eve series of ICs. It includes a new feature to create data for storing on the BT815/6's external flash chip if you integrate this into your design. It has an audio converter which can convert WAV and MP3 files to an Eve compatible format. It has a video converter which can convert video files to an Eve compatible format. It has the new animation generation feature which can prepare ASTC files from a GIF or folders containing PNG files. This is supported only on the BT815/6. It has the font generation utility which can be used to generate font metrics and graphics data from TrueType and OpenType font files. And finally we have our image converter which can take JPEGs, PNGs and BMP files and convert them for Eve. So this can be used with all previous generations of Eve graphics controllers, excluding the animation generation feature, which is only supported on our new third generation BT815/6 graphics controllers. So the next tool we're going to talk about is our Eve Screen Designer tool. Version 4.5 launched with BT815/6 support. This is our next generation, what you see is what you get environment for GUI development. This enables users to build a GUI application using visual programming techniques, i.e. no Eve knowledge is required. You can also use this tool to create logic between screens without any coding. So the two main panels in this application are the two central panels. As you can see, the one on the left we have the widget demo, and you can create this using different widgets from our Eve tools. And the panel on the right beside that is our logic panel, and this is where you create any screen logic between screens or any logic for when a button is pressed, etc. So new features in Eve Screen Designer 4.5 are a new layout mechanism to manage widgets and pages, making it easier to create more dynamic user interfaces. An enhanced functionality of the project browser, layout editor and logic nodes editor for a better overall user experience. So the Eve Screen Designer tool can be used to export code directly to our FT9XX series of microcontrollers, and we also have a porting guide for the STM32 series of microcontrollers. So the final tool we're going to talk about is Eve Screen Editor. So this version 3 has been launched with BT815/6 support. Unlike Eve Screen Designer, this only allows for static screen creation, has a simple drag and drop interface, and includes a wide variety of Eve primitives and widgets. Access to Eve display lists is available with the Eve Screen Editor tool. This can be useful for debugging display lists on a given screen, and you can use this tool to connect to external hardware, allowing for designs to be displayed on real hardware. So moving on, we're going to discuss some development modules available for our third generation of Eve graphics controllers. So currently we have the VM816C development system. This is a credit card sized development board, and it supports 5-inch TFT displays. So there's two options available for this. You can have the VM816C50A, which behaves as a SPI slave. So you can use this to interface to a microcontroller. Or we have the VM816CU50A, which behaves as a USB device. So this includes FTDI's FT4222 USB to SPI translation chip. Modules can be ordered with or without a 5-inch resistive touch display with a 480 by 800 pixel resolution. And modules include a connector for an audio speaker and switches to enable backlight control of up to 100 milliamps. So now we're going to have a look at some target applications for our Eve graphics controller ICs. So the target applications cover low-cost display implementation. We're targeting upgrades to older 7-segment displays. Some market feedback is that the price gap between TFT and 7-segment displays is closing, and Eve is ideally placed to manage the upgrade as a SPI peripheral to a low-end microcontroller. So the first example we have here is of an air conditioning or smart home controller. So a smart home controller could be combined with Zigbee or Wi-Fi for smart home applications, or you can use the display for a central air conditioning controller. The next application we have here is an elevator display. This does not require audio or a touch function, can just be used to display which floor you're on in an elevator. The next application here is white goods, so you can replace the mechanical control on a washing machine or fridge and add user information on the display. We have an industry HMI interfaces on power meters, on uninterruptible power supplies, and on disk servers. Vending machines is also an option. We have an example of a coffee machine using an Eve display here, some food vending displays, and a parking kiosk. It could also be used in a smart card scanner for payment, or a wireless router to display information on connections. We have medical devices, so a glucose meter could be used with an Eve display, or a defibrillator. So now we're going to have a look at some web resources and technical support available for the Eve graphics controller chips. So the first website here is the brtchip.com website, and here you can find all information on our BT815/6 products, including datasheets, programmer's guide, some Eve examples, and application notes. You can also find download links for our development tools, Eve Screen Designer, Eve Asset Builder, and Eve Screen Editor. So the next website we're having a look at is our BRT Community Forum website. This can be used to share ideas and ask questions regarding any of BridgeTech's products. This includes our Eve graphics controllers and our FT9XX series of microcontrollers. And finally, we have our Contact Us section of the website. So we have support teams in Singapore, Taiwan, and Glasgow in the UK. And this provides for 24-hour support on any queries you may have. So thank you for listening to this presentation on BridgeTech's new 3rd generation BT815/6 Eve graphics controller ICs. If you have any questions, please feel free to email into any of our support teams located around the world.